was 31 when I found a lump in my breast. You are too young to have breast cancer, my doctor told me. Your paternal grandmother, who died from ovarian cancer, is too distant. And yet, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I also have something called a BRCA2 mutation from the paternal side of my family. I'm not really sure what that BRCA stands for medically, but in my mind, it stands for because really, cancer is an asshole. My life spiraled in a tailspin. I was single and had just started to settle into a new life, a new job, and a new city. Cancer came in like a Miley Cyrus song, a wrecking ball. I underwent a bilateral mastectomy with immediate reconstruction, 30 rounds of radiation, and 5 years of an estrogen blocker. I underwent 11 surgeries, most of them related to reconstruction complications due to radiation, because remember, really, cancer is an asshole. But so is radiation. I was told to give it a year and things would be back to normal. In truth, my cancer-related issues lasted for 7 years, a far cry from 1 year. And there is no such thing as going back to your pre-cancer normal. Through my cancer shit show, I was left searching for its meaning in my life. I felt like I wasn't meant to simply get through it. I did what I could to understand my journey and to support others going through theirs. I journaled in a public format, modeled for the S.T.A.R. project by David J. in New York City, and was featured in a body image documentary produced by Lauren Greenfield. I spoke at a national cancer conference in Pittsburgh, was the keynote speaker at the Susan G. Komen Luncheon in Shreveport, Louisiana, and became the only American Cancer Society mentor for other young women in Pittsburgh. I was even the honorary Batgirl for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And yes, I know what you're thinking. I got my very own Pittsburgh Pirates Batgirl jersey. I was pacing at my newly appointed gynecological oncologist office one day. I was there for my first ovarian cancer screening due to my BRCA2 mutation, and because really, cancer is an asshole. As I paced, I saw a postcard with a picture of a boat filled with women and a message that said, "Come paddle with us." I didn't know what kind of boat was on the postcard, but I knew whatever it was, I wanted to be a part of it. I called the phone number, and within a week, I was sitting on the front of something called a dragon boat, watching 20 badass breast cancer survivors paddle a 40-foot canoe, all in unison. It was the most amazing thing I had ever seen. As I looked into the faces of these women, I saw strength. I saw hope. I saw women who never gave up. They were pink steel, and I wanted to be one of them. Due to complications related to reconstruction and radiation, I had to wait an entire year to join the Pink Steel Dragon Boat team. But once I joined, I was hooked. I paddled with Pink Steel in Pittsburgh for 7 years. And during that time, my coach helped me learn so much about myself. She never treated me like I had had cancer. She treated me like an athlete. I learned that my body was capable of more than what my mind allowed me to believe. I learned that cancer was not an excuse to not show up in life. And I learned that while there were things that I could not control within my cancer journey, there were others that I could. The long 7 years of my cancer shit show had clearly laid the foundation for my second act. In 2015, following my final cancer-related surgery, my husband and I decided to move to Phoenix, but only after I was certain that there was a dragon boat community. Thankfully, it existed. Who knew that I would actually find a water sport in the middle of a desert? Joining the team was my first priority when we got here. Before I had left Pittsburgh, my team had taken second place out of 101 teams at the international competition in Sarasota. But I quickly learned that I wasn't going to receive the same level of training in Phoenix. That was the moment that I decided that one day I would be a coach. That day came much sooner than I had anticipated. I began coaching the Phoenix Desert Dragons in May 2016. Mind you, I had only just been a paddler. I had no idea what I was doing as a coach, but I went all in. After all, cancer is not a reason to not show up in life. Immediately, I started pushing my team in the same way that my Pink Steel coach had pushed me. I wanted them to see that they were more than just survivors. They, too, were also athletes. After a year under my coaching, the team won their first gold medal at a festival in Las Vegas. And we have defended that gold for 2 years. In 2018, I was able to help the team make its way to our first international competition in Florence, Italy. We competed with over 125 breast cancer survivor teams from 25 different countries and finished in the top third. For many of my members, that was the trip of a lifetime. Since then, we have lost 3 of our paddling sisters. We are planning our participation at the next International Breast Cancer Festival, this time in New Zealand. With the help of several of my dragon boat paddlers, I began exploring part 2 of my second act. In an effort to help expand the offering of my recently published book, Behind the Pink Ribbon, I came up with an idea. I would create a spin-off in the form of a podcast with the goal of helping other survivors, co-survivors, and caregivers. Although breast cancer is symbolized by the pink ribbon, there is so much more to breast cancer than that. It is not pink, nor is it pretty. It can be a messy, devastating, life-altering, and lonely journey. While those of us diagnosed with breast cancer may share the same disease, everyone's story is different. And I say that at the beginning of every episode. In 2019, I released my first podcast episodes featuring the women from my dragon boat team. Behind the Pink Ribbon is dedicated to sharing the stories of breast cancer survivors from around the world. Together, we uncover the reality of what truly lies behind the pink ribbon. In addition, we feature plastic surgeons, researchers, oncologists, and organizations that support breast cancer. I have even interviewed the researcher responsible for the creation of the very first dragon boat team. See how it comes full circle? My podcast brings listeners stories of inspiration and hope, and a reminder that no one is alone in this journey. It also provides them with information and resources so that they can be their own best advocates. My second act has been full of ups and downs, discovery and exploration. I want others to see that they too are more than cancer. Because really, cancer is an asshole. And to our paddling sisters that we have lost, Karen, Trisha, and Debbie. We paddle because we can. We paddle for those who can't. And we paddle in honor of those that have gone before us.